to access it. Like I was trying to access these administrator centers here, but I could not because I was using an account where I don't have the administrator's role. And as such, I will not be able to, have permission to see what is happening in that admin center. So I will go ahead and just say sign out from here. So I can then switch to an account that has an administrator's role. So remember, we have cmd.ms and we have admin.microsoft.com. So with cmd.ms, it will take me to where I will have access to all the admin center that Microsoft 365 has. And over here, we see the admin center itself, where I will just click and it will take me straight up to the administrators page. So because I sign out there, I will have to look for an account that has an administrator's role, and I'll click on this. And this is the process of authentication. Here, I will need to confirm who I am. And at this page, we are at the multi-factor authentication page. After providing my username and password, it is still required to provide an extra layer of security to ensure that, yes, this is me truly signing in. And to authorize that, I will need the help of my phone and my Microsoft Authenticator app. And yes, I have confirmed it, and that is why we are going to the next page, which is the actual page of M365 Admin Center. So here we are, like we've already been introduced to. Let me first of all click on this show all so you can see everything that is entails here. So we've been shown around the home page, which we are currently, and we are talked about the simplified view, the dashboard view, how to add user from here, edit, reset password, and customize the dashboard and the rest. And I'm sure we talked about the users as well, where we talked about the active users being the current users in our organization, the contact, where we save people's contact, probably not in our organization, the guest users, which are externals, and then we have the deleted users. We talked about teams and group, active teams and group, where we talked about the current teams and groups that we have, as they linked with each other, where we were told that all teams are not, are not group, while all group are teams, right? And then we have the policies that guide them. We have the deleted users, deleted groups rather, and then we have the shared mailbox. Then we move on to the role assignments. I think this was discussed last week. And the role assignment, we are told, when it comes to role, we are talking about Microsoft Entra ID, which is formerly known as Azure ID, anything that has to do with role. Yes, you can do all of these from here, but you are making use of Entra ID, services, because this place like this Entra ID that you are seeing here, it is used for access and identity management. Now, when you talk about access, you are talking about permission, right? So they deals with all the permissions and for users and other objects, right? So that is why you have it here. And we have a whole lot of admin centers. And if you see the need to, streamline the task of a particular user of a particular administrator rather, in, just seeing to the affair of a particular angle of the organization, this is where you come to assign the authentication the permission, the role to that user. tailored to the responsibilities that he should, take charge in that organization. Then when you want to do that, you want to click, you can see here, you see assign admin, but it will give you the details of the admin's role here, where you can come to assign, you see the assigned people, then you can click on add user, you can, add a group to it. Then you see the permission that they have. This is when you assign this role to a user, that user automatically have the permission to carry out all of these activities in your organization. So today we are looking at the same thing, almost the same, not necessarily the same, but in a different dimension right now. So we come to administrative unit. This time around, you see that there is no administrative unit in this tenant at all. So we are going to be doing a lot of, or let's say a little browsing to just check and research on stores, right? And doing so, we'll be making use of our Copilot that is integrated with the Edge browser that I'm using right now. So the first thing we may want to check is administrative units. Administrative units in M365 admin center. Now, this is saying that administrative unit in Microsoft 365 Admin Center allow you to subdivide the organization into smaller units, right? So now what this is trying to let us know is this administrative unit is actually like a container where you can group your organization into smaller units. How do you do this? Of course, you are not going to you go to your organization and you want to use the wall to demarcate the organization's structure to say this belong to this and that belong to those. No, you want to actually lessen the burden of the administrator, thereby, trying to segment this organization in a way that you now assign administrators to each of the segments. For example, you may have a multinational company where you have branches across the world. You have in Nigeria, you have in let's just make use of two countries, like three countries. Yeah. Now you have in Nigeria, for example, you have in South Africa. Let's say you have one in the UK. Now you may want to do something like, now you see I'm making use of three countries. Two are Africa and one is in Europe. So what you do is you may want to say, okay, let's separate this organization into these three units first. How do you do that? Into four units, rather, into four units. You now say, okay, let's have a group for Nigeria. Then there is a Nigerian group. You may now want to assign an admin to that Nigerian group to be seen or to seen to the affairs of those Nigerian users, Nigerian employees, and attending to their needs. Then you want to have a group for South African guys, and then you want to assign their own admin to them to be, you know, attending to their needs as well. Then you want to have the one for South Africa, sorry, for UK, and then you assign their own. You have three already. Now, UK is a nation on its own under Europe as a continent, and it is standing on its own. You may want to just let it be. Then you want to maybe consider Nigeria and South Africa as an African country. Then you want to now create a group for African and for African, and then you had Nigeria and you had South Africa. This time around, you also delegate duties to some admin to, look into the affairs and needs of these guys in Africa. Not minding that we have the ones from Nigeria, we have the one for South Africa. We still want somebody or an admin who can be seen to these two things. Now, I say this feature is particularly useful for delegating administrative tasks. For example, you can assign specific roles like a help desk administrator to manage only the users within a particular unit, such as region. We've just said this, and as well department. Now, this department, this is the even most useful or the easier example I could have made, where you will have admin units. Maybe you delegate the administrative tasks to the head of accounting. Then you have IT units, the same thing, and the likes. So this helps streamline management and maintain security by limiting access to only the relevant parts of the organization. Don't forget that the priority of every organization administrators is security. And do not also forget that the essence of all these role assignments and administrative unit is just so you can better manage the security of that organization. Now, somehow, we are trying to, when you look at this definition, you are not careful. If you are someone that just read through the line, you may want to liken it to the role assignment. So we may want to, compare compare um, admin role to admin center in MS admin center. Sorry, did I say admin center? I mean admin unit. So here we are. We have the admin roles. They are predefined sets of permission that you can assign to user to perform specific tasks in the admin center. This admin, right, is not to manage a particular division of the organization, but is to manage a particular or a divided portion of the admin center. Now you can say somebody is global administrator, he has access to all of it. You can say somebody is an help desk administrator. That means you'll be able to attend to the needs of all the users in the organization in as much as it has to do with the admin center, right? The role are tenants wide, like I just tried to mention earlier, is tenants wide, meaning they apply to the entire organization unless scoped otherwise, right? Now, this scoped otherwise is unless you try to define that that access, that particular admin role you want to give to that person, of which the best way I think it can be scoped is by using this administrative unit, which is this allow you subdivide the organization into smaller units, such as by region or department. You can assign admin roles within these units, limiting the scope of the role. Just that. To just that unit. Now, this one was to the entire tenants, and this is just for the unit. And we have example as well. So closing out on this, we want to quickly create a unit here. Creating a unit and as well try to assign a user who does not have an administrative role in this tenant. So quickly, I will open the active users in this tenant in another tab so that we can get one person who is not an admin in that tenant. Now, in this tenant, how many users are here? We have quite numbers of them. So we are going to use Diago Silani. And when you open Diago Silani and you come to role, your roles, you see manage role, you see that this guy has no admin role at all. There's nothing like an admin role here. So we were using basically for this experiment. So I'll go back to the administrative units and try to create one. So we will name this TMCC. Let's just say TMCC team or team TMCC. Yeah. Okay. So the description is not necessary, but it is good so that just in case this thing needs to be modified later in the future, we can know why it was created and to which extent it is useful. But in this case, it's just for test. So let me just put this for test, just so if another person comes across it, they will know that it was strictly for test. Then now these are method of uploading users. The first one here, now when you read, first and foremost, you see add members. They tell you that the administrator assigned to this unit will manage the settings of these users and groups, meaning you don't just add users, you can add users as well as group. Now say adding groups doesn't add users to the unit. It lets the assigned admin manage group settings. This is what this is trying to say. You know, in group, we have users that are assigned to those group. And when you go ahead and assign a license to that particular group, it therefore means that every user in that group will inherit the permission that is assigned to it. But in this case, if you add a group to an administrative unit, you are not adding those users to the unit. Thereby, we now guarantee or give access to the administrator that is assigned to this unit to go ahead and manage the task of those users. No, what this means is once you add a group, once you add a group to a unit, the administrator assigned to that unit will only be able to manage the group settings, which will now directly affect the users on that group. Now, these are the conditions of adding users. You can only add up to 20 members individually, or you can bulk upload up to 200 users. If you need to add more, you can edit this unit to add them. Now, what this means is once I click here and click on add users, I can add up to 20 users at a spot. Now, I can't add more than 20, but if I've added up to 20 and see the needs to add more later, I can go back to the unit and add more users. And then when I use this upload, you upload users to, to upload bulk users up to 200 to this unit. You say upload a text file that has each user's username on a separate line. This, if I should download this sample now, it will give you a text file. What a text file means is this note, one note, right? Now this is it. If I open, it will give you a sample, right? This is John. Oh, it's not there. Let me just quickly move it here. Now you have John at contoso.com. And on a separate line, you have John at contoso.com. These are different guys. You can see they are carrying different domain, even though they have the same name, right? So the same way, if I want to add which user do I have here? If I want to add all of these users, I will just go ahead. If I want to add Adele now, I'll just say Adele V at this. Then I will come. I will come here and put Adele V here. I'll come here and add Adele V here, right? At WMVS1, right? The same way this guy has this, .onmicrosoft.com, this domain. I can decide to say, okay, let's add Ezine Vitios at paul.ahgc.com.ng. Then I'll bring that guy here again. they are using different domain. Yeah, we talked about domain when we were trying to add users and set templates for adding users, right? They may be carrying different domain, but in the same organization. So this is how I will put down the names of all of those users up to 200, and then I can just come and upload the file, right? And I'll come. Let's just try and upload this that was downloaded. It won't work because those users are not here. Your file test is validated and ready. Select continue, but we don't want to continue because those users does not exist in this tenant. So we do add up to 20 users. We are going to add about 3 users here. We are going to add, let's say 3 to 5, right? Let's add that there. Let's add somebody that has administrator's role. I will add my second account in this tenant. Yeah, we had this guy. He has global administrators as a matter of fact.
Paul, sorry to call your attention. I'm not sure you are seeing the chat. People cannot see your screen. I thought I was seeing your screen, yes, but Messi and Bros say they are not seeing your screen. Maybe you should just share again.
Oh, so sorry. Let me stop sharing. Then I'll share again. Please confirm if you can see my screen now.
I can see from here. I'm not sure about the others.
Please, can you see my screen?
I can see from my end. Yep.
Bros said yes.
Okay.
Waiting for Messi. Yeah.
Hello, Messi and everyone. If you can see my screen, just give a thumbs up so I can confirm. Guys can see. Okay. That therefore means that everybody can. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry for the inconveniences so far. Hopefully, the screen will be captured in the recording and we may just want to take a look at it later. Right. Okay. So we'll continue. In adding these users, so I'm at the point where I want to add members to this unit, right? And yeah, like I said before, you can add up to 20 users and group, by selecting them one after the other, yeah. So I said I want to select this guy who has who has a global admin role. Then no, this guy is the guy we set to use for the administrator of this unit. Then we'll add Alex. Let's add Adele. And then let's add Ezine. Ezine has an admin role, but I don't know which particularly. I know it's not global admin. So I will click on next. That is to say, I have 4 users in this unit. Then I will next. Then role now. This is where I want to assign somebody to this unit. But I will first of all need to select the role, the admin role that I want this guy to be able to help with the other 4 guys, right? So in this case, I want to select the help desk administrator. Now, if you check this description here, you'll see that the help desk administrator reset passwords and re-authenticates for all non-admin and some admin roles, manages service requests and monitor service health. So basically, we are saying that if I give this role to Diego now, Diego should be able to reset the passwords of those other 4 guys. It authenticates them. It authenticates them means, reset their password, give them password. They can log in. It can, set their authenticator method and the likes. Now, for all non-admin, even for some admin, right? service request, and then they can monitor the services of this user, of this other user. So I will click on it. You see here, general, who should be assigned admin. This is just, them telling you what's up, right? And the role of this person will be reset password, force user to sign out by validating refresh tokens, which is authentication, create and manage service requests, monitor service health. Then if I come to this assign, this is where I want to assign this role to somebody. And like we agreed before, I'm going to assign this to Diego. And don't forget, we have checked on Diego. Yeah, we have checked on Diego, yeah. And we say Diego does not have even license. It doesn't have license. And this is the role that it currently occupies. It doesn't have any role, like zero. You can see it here. Okay, let's do user. Let's update it quickly. Or probably we should try and use another user because I seem not to understand that guy very well. So we use a Gladi. He has a manager. Now you see this, no administrator access. So we are going to use this guy here, Gladiachi. If you even check, this guy doesn't have any license. He's on license. So we are going to use him, not longer Diego. So this is Gladi. We will use Gladi. Then I will add him. Then I will close this out and I will next. Review. This is just to tell you that, okay, the name of this unit is TNCC. The description is for test. We have 4 users and there's no group. Let me just add a group. You can add a group from here. You say add user, add group. So I will just add one of my group that I used to practice some time ago. Let's do planning. Okay, let's do this. So we'll next and next. Now you see that there are 4 members and 1 group in this unit. And the role here is help desk administrator, and the administrator is Gladi Archie. So I will just do add. It's trying to add that administrative unit. So I will do done. Now we have an administrative unit here, and it is assigned. It is assigned to members. So if I want to see the details, I can come here and see that, okay, how many users are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have a group here. And now you can see the last signing of these guys. No attempts, no attempts. This guy March 6 and unavailable because it's a group. And then no attempts in the last 30 days. So yeah, like we said before, if you want to add more group, so you can as well do add more users. And then this time around, you want to add your text file. You can add them individually if you want to add more, and then you select, and then you do your add. Then you can export the members in CSV file. If you continue, it will download them out for me, and you can use them to check them. Let's say I add somebody here now. Let me now add this here go guy as a user. Let's say I add this guy here. I've just added him. Perhaps he has not shown up. I may want to do refresh to see him pop up here. But because I have good network one way or the other, so it's just coming up straight up. Then we have the role assignments. We want to see the guy that is even in charge of this place. The same way you may, like we have on help desk administrator here, we may want to say, okay, let another person take charge of, okay, let's do group administrator because we have a group here. So this person will be in charge of creating and managing group for these people, including group naming and expiration policy, set anything that has to do with group that those users are in. So we can create updates, and do a lot of stuff. then you can as well assign another person to it, like differently. You can go and assign another person to it, let's say Johnny. Then we want to close that out like that. So let's check our help desk. You see that this guy here is coming up as Glady Archie. But if we should go back to our admin center and check for the privilege admin role, that's the role assignment for people in my organization. If I come to role and role assignment, and I come to help desk, and I click on assign, you see that these guys, okay, this guy has it. That was why it was there. Now you see that Glady Archie has the role here, but to what team TMCC, which is the unit we just created. This is the scope it can cover. While the scope, this merit, Olumuni covers his organization. Okay, this merit. I can't even remember this person. So this person is covering, because this person, you are seeing that organization as a whole there, because this person was assigned that license from here or upon creation. That is why you are seeing it as an organization. But because this guy was assigned this role from a unit, that is why you are seeing the unit here. This is the unit name. Couldn't get admin unit name. Yeah, this guy was assigned for a unit before. I deleted the unit. So the admin, the administrator's role still tied to his name. Of course, he can't use this for anything because the unit is no longer in existence in this tenant. So we come here. This is the unit we just created. Now, we want to demonstrate what we have just done. And doing so, what I want to do is sign out or probably open another tab and sign in with Glady Archie. So I'll just change this account and I'll move this guy here. And then I'll do this. I will go to admin center. Remember that Glady does not have administrator's role in the organization. You should go and check his profile. So yeah, this is the ego. Now, the ego once had a role. I removed it. And now he can no longer access this admin center. And the role he has was tied to a unit, not to the organization. So I'll quickly sign out and switch. I hope you can still see my screen, please. Okay, so I will go and look for, what's his name again? Glady Archie. Then yeah, I will have to reset his password. Of course, this is just for the purpose of this training. I'll copy the username and then we have the password there. I'll go back to this guy. What is this? So I'll try to open admin.microsoft.com again. I have signed out of this guy. So we have this here, and I will use another account. Bring up the username and next, and then I will do this and insert the password. Okay, now this, because my organization requires that every user that is signing in must have to download an authenticator app. An MFA is set for everybody upon first sign in, right? So I'll just do next, and then I will open my phone from my end. I will open my Microsoft Authenticator app, confirm that I am the one signing in by inputting my phone password. So yeah, they are just telling me to download it, and if I'm done, I should just next and click on work on school. Now I'll just want to, scan this barcode with my phone, which I've just done, and authenticating. Now account is added successfully. It's now mean that I will now click on this next. And the number is pop up for me to confirm using my phone. I'll do yes and confirm I'm the owner of the phone again. So it will automatically go to the admin center. So I next, and then this is them telling me I set it up. Okay, now we are here. This guy has access to admin center. But how many users are here that you can see? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's check how many users are in my organization. We have quite a lot of them, right? Quite a lot. But this other guy's business is strictly for these 5 people. And these are the people that this guy was tied to. Just assume that these guys were the people in accounts in my own firm, right? I will have a group for them on the norm and say this is accounting department group. And then I now assign that guy, this particular guy, as the administrator of this team, of this unit rather, as well add him as the administrator of, as group administrator, just so if he's creating a group, he can add these people. And in that group, he can do a whole lot with these guys. Now, if we should come here, this guy is an admin, is a global admin. But this guy now has been given the help desk administrator over him, right? So yeah, active group and active users rather. I can come here, click, and the same thing the global admin can do in the admin center to user when it comes to help desk is the same thing this guy can do to all of these users, these 5 guys. They can reset their password. Talking about role, I'm not sure if you'll be able to give them role. Yeah, you don't have permission to save changes because obviously I can't assign role to them, right? But once you click here, you have permission to do a whole lot. You can assign license. You don't have permission to edit license. Wow, really? Okay. I just learned that the help desk administrator don't have the permission to assign license to users. Perhaps I have added the rule for him to assign license to this user. He would have been able to assign to them. But basically, this is just help desk. The most you do, you reset password. You can check their activities. You manage their groups if you have the permission. And if you come to active group and teams, you see there is just one group here. Meanwhile, from here, if we should check my teams and group, we have a whole lot of them. We have a whole lot, at least more than 10, but there is only one just showing up for that guy, right? And that is because his access is restricted to this group alone. Can edit, can do anything he wants to do with it. Then there is another guy we added. So basically, this is what this guy can do. And he should have access to Entra ID, identity. Yes, this is Glady. Has access to identity. Here we are seeing 23 users, but then I don't think he will be able to access the whole of 23 users. Maybe they are only telling us that, hey, we have 23 users in this tenant. But let's see the users that he would be able to connect with. Okay, let's look for somebody who is not within the scope of his management. We have Q. Let's see if he will be able to do anything with Q. Let's talk about password. Okay, now you see the password cannot be reset. This may be due to an incorrect level of administrative privilege, or if trying to reset your own password, right? Because this guy is not within the scope of his management. But let's look for another guy who is within the scope of his management. We have, if I can't remember anyone, I know we have Adele, we have Alex, and we have even this admin here. Yeah, this guy. And I can reset the password. Oh, this may be due to, okay, we cannot reset it. Is it this guy that is in that scope? Let's check and see. Then we'll talk about members. Yeah, probably because it's a global admin. Oh, yeah. Don't forget that it is only global administrator that can reset the password of a global administrator. And that is why it is advised that you have at least 2 global administrator in your tenant, just so in case the one is having issues, the other one can, intervene. And it is advised that you don't have more than 4, right? Now, let's check on Adair. I would love to use Alex because I think I'm doing some stuff with Adele and I would not love to reset his password now. So if I do reset password for Alex Weber, you see now that this user, this will be assigned a temporary password that must be changed on the next sign in to display the temporary password. Click, reset, and I'll be able to reset this guy. But you see, one thing that differentiates these people is able to reset this. Is not able to reset the global admin, and is not able to, reset the user that is not within the scope of his management. You see the power of the Entra ID. Now, because he has access to Entra ID, he can see possibly all the users in my tenant. But over at Microsoft 365 Admin Center, he's only able to see active users, right? Now, even if I come to group, active teams and group, this guy should not be able to add a group. Reason be that he's not given that permission, but he has been given the permission to manage this particular group. So we will come to that second guy who has permission to manage group. And who is he? I think we have role assignments. It was the group administrator was who? Okay, we have Johnny Sherman. So we will reset the password of Johnny Sherman. Johnny Sherman. Yeah. Then we will sign in and see the level at which this girl, this lady here, can go. And then we will see if she will be able to reset the password of the other users within those units. And we will as well see if she can access the Entra ID administrators page. So we'll click and then we'll try to measure. Now you see that in Entra ID, you are mandated that this guy must reset. It is called temporary password. Like this guy must reset his password upon the next sign in, right? But yeah, you can just let the guy go. The same thing I just want to do. I'll just let it go. You should just go and do your thing. That would therefore mean that the administrator here, if save these details, we have access to them anytime, any day. So we'll come back to this account. Let's close this out and open this, and then we sign out from here. Let's sign in with different accounts. So I will do this journey and then I will next. And then I will put in the password. Yeah, as expected, I'm going to use my phone to authorize the authentication. So I will next. Oh yeah, I'm just saying this. A password admin can reset global administrator's password. Yeah, I think yeah, I can recall now. We were told this, or we were taught about this a few weeks ago. Thank you very much for bringing that to my notice. So guys, know it now that the password administrator and the global administrator can reset the password of a global administrator. What am I saying? A password admin and another global admin. Let's just put it that way. So this is trying to, okay, not approved. Okay, yeah. This is trying to take us to the admin center for Johnny. Don't mind me for always saving the passwords. I may just want to do something some other time and I want to use them for lab. I will just jump back on them without needing to, go through the route of signing in again. So I'll just close on this. So you see now that these are the available groups in my tenant. Sorry, yeah, active group. Yeah, this is the group that was attached as a scope to that team, and that is why you can only see it here, right? Don't forget that these people, this admin, focus is solely on the users that was assigned to those team, as well as, I mean, to those users as well as the group that was added. And the users I have here are just this. Let's start from variance if we can reset our password. So looking at variance, there is nothing like reset a password there. There is nothing like that because this user has not been given that privilege to do that, right? But he has access to admin center. What is he now doing in the admin center? So when we come to active teams and group, this guy now can now add a group. And when this guy tried to add a group, let's see what it can do within this group. Let's say TMCC team, right? I'm not always a fan of those description. Then you say assign role. You see that you don't have more than 5 users here. Like everything this guy does is just limited to these 5 users. And the only thing it can do here basically is to manage the teams and group of these users that these users belongs to. That is the only thing can create. While the other guy can reset password and cannot create, but this guy can create and assign password. Let's add Adele as the group owner. I know we've been taught on how to create a group. Let's add, say, 2 members. Now, you see that this Diego doesn't have a license. Hence, you don't see the Teams logo here to show that or to indicate that this guy has access to Teams. So we may just want to add in. You know, this we have a whole lot of effects, right? And then we have Ezine, who has Teams status. So we can add them. What this means is if I create this group and these users needs to use Teams for any reason, that means that this guy will not be able to be part of that meeting. Then I will add the 2 guys, then the setting. Okay, I want to add group email address. Of course, we are creating a M365 group. So we can just put in team CMCC as this, whether public or private, whichever. Let's just go. And then we create a group. Now this group, let's refresh. It should be part. Oh, it cannot be part of this place, right? Because this is for the unit. It should be here. Why not? I don't know. Maybe I need, and yeah, it should be here. So this is it here. It comes up. He has access to manage all the group here. Can edit the name, even though he did not create this group, because he has that privilege. We can edit the name, add the description, can export, can delete, and can add another one, can create a distribution list. Unfortunately, no. Probably this guy doesn't have exchange license or doesn't have the rights to create a distribution list from here. Security group, you can't have the security group. Why not? Why not a distribution list? Maybe we want to get more clarification from Mr. Joseph at the end of the day on this point. Please, it should be noted down. I can't really tell why this user cannot, or maybe distribution list is not regarded as a team and group. And because he has only access to administrators, to manage teams and group, then you can check on the deleted group. So basically what this guy has access to is just users and teams. And in the users, there is nothing he can do with them, just so he knows the users he's dealing with. That is the essence why you see them listed there. And if we should go to admin center, okay, there is still identity. Let's open it and see what this guy can do in identity. Yes, it can do something in identity. What is that? It can manage group and teams from identity. You know, security group is supposed to be even created from this Entra admin center because it says more to security. So when we come to group, all groups, So this is the only reason why this guy should have access to this admin center, this Entra admin center, right? And you see all the group the same way we saw all the user the last time. And then there are only two teams it can manage here. TMCC team TMCC team. You see, you can delete, you can see the members, owners. Let's see, there is owner, it can add owner, you can see the members of the group, But then if we now come to, let's say, learning group, which it did not create and it doesn't have access to, based on it's not within the scope of TMCC unit, you see that deletion is not available for in here. I've been trying to click and click, but no. And if I like, there is nothing it can do here basically. And if I should open the members that are in these teams, no member have been found. Let's say I want to try and add. Let's say I had, it's not even clickable. Okay, it is. And then I do select. You see, it's sufficient privilege to add the selected members because its scope of operation is limited to this group. He did not create it. And at the same time, it's not within the TNCC unit. That is why it will not be able to do anything for this group. If we now come down to is it training team? Yes, that we added to that unit. You see now that deletion is available for him here. And if we come to members, is able to see the members, unlike the other one that I could not see. And if I should add Adele here, you see that Adele is added successfully, right? And remember that the other guy, what's his name again? Glady. Glady could not do anything to this group because his permission is to manage and attend to users' needs. Why this guy, his scope is beyond user, but for teams and groups. And for those teams and groups, in terms of creation, it can only create a group for those 5 guys that are in this unit, right? I think, okay, these are the two basic examples I can give when it comes to administrative unit, but we have them on and on, right? Unlike we just selected the group and teams, sorry, the group and help desk administrators and assign to that group. So you can as well create another unit, Let's not use another. You can create as many units as you want, right? And then when it comes to permission, role assignment, yeah, you see that there is a role assignment here, the same way we have there. But this one is speaking to something specific, while the other one is general. I mean generic, right? So here now we have, you see all the administrative role that this unit can have listed there, right? We have the license. So if we had added license administrators to, let's assign it to, Glady. Remember, we tried to add a license to an account using Glady, but we could not. So we will use Glady now to add up I mean, as an as an administrator for license administrator, right? Then we will switch to his account and see if we can assign license to any of those 5 guys gladly. I just hope it's synced already, which I am sure it should. Now, this guy, okay, he has access to users already. Perhaps I had added that permission to Simon to Johnny's license, who was not able to do anything with user, would have been able to at least assign licenses to users. But we have tried with this guy before and it did not work. So there is an unlicensed guy here, which is the Silani. So here we have Diago. We check on license and halves. And then here, let's just give him the E5. I still have a lot. Let's give him the E5 and then let's save changes as C. Now you see that it has worked, right? And if we go back to active users now, this guy was not having teams to his name. Where was that? Okay, in groups, right? He was not having team status in his group. But if we try to switch now to Johnny again, and we go to teams and group, then we come to TNCC teams. We check on membership. That is owner. Okay, we'll use the Entra Admin Center users. Come to groups, check on all groups. We use one of our groups here. Now let's say I want to add, okay, I cannot add user to this group from here. Reason being that this group contains list of people that it doesn't have access to manage. One, it as well not, within its power, it did not even create the group. So we'll just go to the TNCC teams that it created. And then we'll check on the members. Tiago Silani. Let's do add members. Where did you get to see that in status? Okay, all members. Is this at the admin center? Assign. I'm trying to find out the team status of that guy. And I'm not Tiago Silani. He now has a license. So this guy, if I should go and sign in with him, yeah, let's say office.com. So we want to sign in with Diago. Before now, it doesn't have a license. And we know that without license, it doesn't have access to any of the core applications in Microsoft. So we have Diago. Open. Now, this guy before now has no license at all, but he was given a license from a unit it belongs to. And now, and the unit administrator does give him the license. Oh, it has not synced. So we just need time for it to sync, or it's still loading for us. Yeah, it's still loading. So it should sync already because I have this here already. Okay, let's refresh and see. Microsoft Copilot. So we may need to wait for this license to sync. Usually it takes time, of course, we know that before now. So hopefully we'll come back to check later and see that it works. So from those groups, let's see if the admin, the global admin from the M365 admin center has access to them, right? Then we want to check on things and group first. Active things and group. We just created the TMCC team, and you see that is available for this guy here, even though he's not a member of this group. You see that it doesn't have a team status. The particular team here doesn't have a team status. Even at that, it still pop up for him to add the teams, to add teams to the group. You see that now you have added a team group, even though this guy is not even in the group, he's not in the administrative unit, but he has access to everything in the tenant. That makes him the global administrator. And this is the team status here showing up. I think this was where I was supposed to come earlier to check on the Ergo. The Ergo. Yeah, you see the Ergo now as the N365 developer license. Then let's see if it can moderate the administrative unit. Of course, he created it and he should have access to it. It can add more units, it can delete the unit, it can edit the unit. Take note, this account is admin at, right? Now let's change to another global administrator and see if we have access to those groups and teams as well as the users. So we'll come here and try to switch user. Try to switch user. That's here. Okay. Let me switch from here. What happened? I don't have the account here. I should. Sorry, let me quickly bring up the second administrator that I have, the global administrator that I have in this tenant to sign in, just so we can see the permission and the length at which it can operate using that, like this. Okay. I think I should have the password. Wow. I get you something around here. Oh, I went to copy the wrong thing. So this is it here. So it's trying to come up. I have authorized authentication to go. Don't know why it's taking time. So because the other automatic way is giving me issue, I have to quickly request a code from using my authenticator app to authorize to authenticate the sign in. So we are here again using another account that has a global administrator's role that did not create the administrative unit, right? So we'll check to see if that unit is available for him and what he can do with it. So you see that he can as well edit it. He can edit the name and description, right? You can see the users that are in, can remove the user. So if you want to remove, you just click on, let me remove this guy, it's even here. You just click on this guy, you click on this guy, you see the remove minus remove to here. You just click on it and here you'll be sure that they are going. So two members were removed from the Team TNCC unit. Just perhaps somebody retires from the department or somebody leaves, you can just come and do the needful, right? Now the question is, can we remove someone who has a role in this unit? I think who does? Diago Silani does. There were two guys. Okay, I've even removed the second guy. Now removing, there were two guys. Removing the second guy means that that guy no longer have access to any administrative unit. If you sign, let me remove the Agosilani that I'm so sure of. So I removed the Agosilani. So one thing is, if I delete the group, right, that Diagosilani will no longer have access to administrative center. Now that I remove Diagosilani from the unit, what then happens? So let's try and refresh or try to sign in with Diagosilani. This is it. I'll just do sign in. The password is up. You see, within the count of seconds, this guy no longer have access to administrative unit, administrative portal, right? Just simply because I removed him from that group. Now that group is existing without an admin. I have removed the two admins here. What then happened? This is the group that I created within the unit, right? What then happened is I can come and change the role to another person assigned. Then I'll come here. Gladiachi, I've removed her because she's no longer in these things. It's not longer relevant to me. I can just come and do remove. And then I will add another user. Mind you, you can add more users to perform the same task within a unit. Please be sure of this. Like you see me adding 3 guys here. You can add more than one to see to the affairs of units within an organization. Right? That is for help desk. I think we did something. Okay, it was group that we add. Is it Johnny? Johnny. Okay. I think Johnny is still in the members. Okay, Johnny is out. Johnny is out of the members that we have here. Let's try and sign in with Johnny and see. Sign out and switch. Admin. Let's sign in with Johnny and see what happens. Now we have Johnny here. Oh, Johnny is still here. Let's see what he has access to. Oh, yes. The reason is these teams, this group is still in existence, right? I remember that we created him for this to manage groups. So it will always be here, actually. So let's try and delete this group. He's even the one who created the group. Let's try and delete the group and see what happens. So it's out. Let's come back to refresh this place and see. The group is gone. Then we want to refresh. This page is temporarily empty. Let's see. So you have at least one owner, two owner. Okay. Let's see Glady. Now, this is what I'm telling. I'm trying to explain to us. So an administrator to a certain group or to a certain unit does not necessarily need to be a member of that unit. But once you delete the units, the administrator automatically lose his role as an administrator. I will no longer be able to access that administrator center, right? And now if you now come to change this guy group, and then I decide to remove Johnny as administrator, then Johnny will not be able to sign in. Right? You see it because I have removed him. He may not be member of the team of the unit, but he may have the power to operate in that unit because of the administrative permission that has been given to him to address that unit. So I will try to delete that unit now. Let's check the admin centers as administrators we still have. So we still have Adair as one of our administrator in help desk. So before now, I think Adair as okay. Don't worry, I'll go back to our group and I will add an administrator as that's Johnny. It will remain Johnny Sherman. This is the same Johnny Sherman that I just removed as administrator now. And they say it doesn't have access here, right? Let's refresh and see. It's just trying to sync. Let me sign out and sign in again. Yeah. I don't know what Gladys is doing here. Go Gladys and bring me Johnny. Now you see that Johnny is back, right? Johnny is back here. Now I removed him, he doesn't have access. I add him back as the administrator for group administrator for that unit and he's back here. Now let's delete the unit entirely from the admin center. Remember that this guy here, this guy that is signing here, this Paul Ogborefo is not the person who created this unit in the first place. But because it's a global admin, so I'll just go ahead and delete the unit. You see, here's what will happen when you delete this unit. All data associated with the unit will be deleted. Users and groups will no longer be members. Role assignments will be removed. So if I hit on delete, I'll go back to that Diego to refresh. Of course, you expect it to come back and come back and come back. But once I sign out and sign in back, you'll see that this guy no longer have access. Let me even sign into another user that has one, maybe not, but then let's just see. This guy doesn't have. Let me sign in back to Johnny. You see that Johnny now, somebody that was in admin center right now, does no longer have access, right? So that is the power of administrative unit. And like we defined to access when we started using the Copilot, we said that the admin rule are predefined sets of permission that you can assign to users, perform specific tasks in the admin center, and it is generic to the tenants, such as global, okay, tenant-wide, yeah, such as global administrator and the rest. I would say administrative unit allows you to subdivide your organization into smaller units. You can say it's a container where users and groups are contained, you know, such as region, and groups such as region or departments. Then you can assign admin roles within these units, limiting the scope of the role just that to just that unit. And we have the help desk as an example, and we have, to manage the administrative units of those users and that are in that unit, right? Now I'm saying in essence, admin role define what task an admin can perform, while administrative unit defines where those tasks can be performed. Now the key difference here is this where, and then we have what, right? The role gives you what to do, and the unit gives you where you can perform those tasks. Then together they provide flexible way to manage permission and responsibility in large or complex organization. I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to pass a message and not to confuse us, but to convince us what administrative unit is all about in Microsoft 365. Thank you so much for your time and your attentiveness. At this point, we'll be moving straight to questions and answers. And I think we have one pending. I hope we remember to come back to that. And then that is the issue of a group administrator not being able to create a distribution list. So at this junction, we'll